Welcome to Daily English Dose Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back. We're really happy you're here today.
Yes, absolutely. And before we begin, Aisha, I have to say, I feel like today's topic is going to confuse people.
Confuse and maybe fascinate them too.
True. But before that, how are you doing, Aisha?
I'm doing good. I had too much coffee today, so I might talk faster than usual. What about you?
I'm doing fine, just trying to mentally prepare for this discussion because it's one of those topics that doesn't give you a clear answer.
Exactly, and that's why it's perfect for today's session, because when there's no clear answer, we start thinking more.
And when we think more, we speak more, which is exactly what our learners need.
That's right. So, dear learners, today's topic is something humans have been thinking about for thousands of years.
The question is simple, but the answer is not.
Do we have a soul?
That word itself feels mysterious.
Yes. Let's start simple. What is a soul? Let me explain that word first.
Good idea.
A soul means the non-physical part of a human being, something that is not your body, not your brain, but something deeper.
Like your true self?
Exactly, your true self, the part of you that feels, loves, fears, hopes.
So the question is that real? Or is it just something our brain creates?
That's where it gets interesting.
Let me ask you directly, do you believe we have a soul?
Personally, I feel like we do. Not because I can prove it, but because I experience something beyond just physical reactions.
Let's explain that word experience for our learners.
Yes, experience means something you feel or go through personally.
So Aisha is saying she feels something inside her that cannot be explained scientifically.
Exactly. For example, when you feel deep love or deep sadness, it doesn't feel mechanical.
Mechanical means like a machine.
Yes, it feels meaningful.
That's a powerful word. Meaningful means something that has deep importance.
Right. So I feel like there is something more than just neurons firing in the brain.
Neurons are brain cells that send signals.
Yes. But what about you, Daniel?
Honestly, I'm not fully convinced.
Interesting.
I feel like everything we call a soul might actually be the brain.
So you think it's all biology?
Yes, let me explain that word. Biology is the science of living things.
Go on.
Our emotions, thoughts, memories, all of them can be linked to the brain.
But then what about consciousness?
That's the tricky one.
Let's explain consciousness.
Consciousness means awareness, the fact that you know you exist.
Exactly. You're not just alive, you know you're alive.
And that's where science still struggles.
Struggles means finds it difficult.
Yes, science can explain how the brain works, but not fully why we feel like us.
That us feeling, that identity.
Identity means who you are.
So maybe the soul is that identity?
Or maybe it's just a very complex illusion.
Illusion means something that seems real but is not.
Yes,
But Daniel, if it's an illusion, why does it feel so real?
good question.
When someone you love dies, the pain is deep. It doesn't feel like just chemistry.
That's true. The emotional intensity is very strong.
Intensity means strength or power.
Yes, but science would say that's because of hormones and brain activity.
Hormones are chemicals in the body that affect emotions.
Exactly.
But then, let me ask something else. Why do humans across cultures believe in a soul?
That's a strong point.
Different countries, different religions, but many believe in something beyond the body.
That suggests a pattern.
Pattern means something that repeats.
Yes, but it could also mean humans are afraid of death.
Fear.
Fear of disappearing forever.
So the idea of a soul gives comfort.
Exactly. Comfort means a feeling of relief or ease.
So you're saying the soul might be a psychological need?
Possibly.
That's interesting, but also a bit sad.
Why sad?
Because it means we created the idea just to feel better.
True, but humans do that a lot.
That's fair.
But let's look at another angle. Near-death experiences.
Yes, that's fascinating.
People who almost died, they report similar things.
Like seeing light, feeling peace.
Exactly.
Let's explain report. It means to describe or tell something.
Right. Many people report leaving their body.
That sounds like evidence of a soul.
Or it could be the brain reacting to extreme stress.
Again, back to biology.
Always.
You're very scientific today.
I try to be logical.
Logical means based on clear reasoning.
Yes.
But logic doesn't always explain human experience.
True.
Let me ask you something personal.
Go ahead.
Have you ever felt something you couldn't explain?
Yes.
Like what?
Sometimes when I'm alone, I feel a sense of presence.
Presence means feeling that something is there.
Yes, even though I know there's nothing.
That's interesting.
But I still think it's my mind.
Maybe, or maybe it's something more.
You really want it to be more, don't you?
Maybe I do.
Why?
Because it makes life feel deeper.
Deeper. Good word.
It means more meaningful, more profound.
Profound means very deep and thoughtful.
Yes, so believing in a soul adds meaning to life.
For me, yes.
But is meaning dependent on belief?
That's a big question.
Because even without a soul, life can still be meaningful.
That's true.
You can still love, create, learn.
Yes, but the idea of a soul makes those things feel eternal.
Eternal means lasting forever.
Exactly.
But what if nothing lasts forever?
Then maybe that's what makes life special.
Ah, now you're changing your side.
Maybe a little.
That's the beauty of this topic.
There is no fixed answer.
Fixed means permanent or unchanging.
Yes.
So where do we stand now?
I think whether the soul exists or not, the question itself is valuable.
Valuable means important or useful.
Because it makes us think about who we are.
And how we live.
Exactly.
So maybe the real question is not, do we have a soul?
But how do we live our life?
That sounds like a conclusion.
It is.
So, dear learners, today we explored a question with no clear answer.
But we learned many words, ideas, and ways to express thoughts.
And that's the goal of this session.
To help you think and speak.
And don't worry if you don't have a final answer.
Even we don't.
And that's perfectly fine.
So keep questioning, keep speaking, and keep learning.
And we'll see you in the next session with another interesting topic.
Something that will make you think again.
And maybe confuse you a little. In a good way.
Always in a good way.
Bye, everyone.
See you soon.